All the exports of the US market are demand driven. They are placed based on advance orders from US importers. The Indian tariffs stood at 10% for any rice exported to the US. This was later on increased to 50%. Even though there was a steep increase of 40% in the tariff rates, we have seen that the Indian exports have not fallen. This is primarily because of the reason regarding the recent statement by the US President on Indian rice imports in the United States market. The Indian Rice Exporters Federation would like to clarify the market dynamics and the Indo-US rice trade. US is an important market for India. In the last preceding financial year 24-25, India exported basmati rice worth $337 million, weighing approximately 270,000 metric tons to the US market. This places the US market as the fifth largest market for Indian basmati rice. Similarly, when we talk about non-basmati rice, in the similar period, India exported $57 million worth of non-basmati rice to the US market, weighing about 61,000 metric tons. This places US as the 24th largest market for Indian non-basmati rice. Now, first we have to understand that who is the buyer for this non-basmati and basmati rice in the US market. It is people from the Gulf and the subcontinent region, primarily people of Afghani, Iraqi, Irani, Indian, Bangladeshi and Pakistani origin are the primary consumer of Indian rice in the US market. All the exports of the US market are demand driven. They are placed based on advance orders from US importers. We have seen that there has been an increasing trend in Indian rice exports to the US market as the popularity of Indian and South Asian dishes such as biryani have grown in the US market. Now, all the exports are demand driven. They're based on taste because Indian rice has a very distinct flavor, texture and color palette, which is more suitable for certain type of traditional Indian and South Asian dishes. The American grown rice is not a like-for-like substitute for Indian rice, and it cannot be used as an alternative in Indian dishes. So all the exports from India is not dumping any rice in the US market, where, however, and the demand remains robust and resilient. We have seen that before the tariff situation, the Indian tariffs stood at 10% for any rice exported to the US. This was later on increased to 50%. Even though there was a steep increase of 40% in the tariff rates, we have seen that the Indian exports have not fallen. This is primarily because of the reason that Indian rice has to be consumed by people who need it. It is not a favor which the US consumer is doing on India, but it is the requirement of the US market. We have seen that the prices in the domestic market in the US have consistently increased. Because of this tariff hike, earlier a 10-pound bag, which is the most popular packaging in the US market, was being sold for approximately 13 USD for per bag. After the tariff situation, this has increased to about $18 to $19 per bag. This means that while largely the realization for Indian farmers and Indian exporters have remained consistent, however, all the tariff hike has been borne by the US consumer, who has borne the brunt of this tariff increase, which has resulted in domestic food inflation in the US market. India remains poised to increase its trade to different markets, even though the US is a large market for India. However, Indian rice exports are well diversified across the world. The Indian Rice Exporters Federation is working closely with different stakeholders, including the government, to expand India's reach into newer markets. Recently, we have identified Philippines as a very big potential market for further rice exports. Today, we only hold a 4% market share in the Philippines market. The Philippine market is a 10 times larger market than the US market put together. So any steep increase or any further increase in US tariffs will be detrimental to the US consumer itself and will have minimal impact on Indian trade.